Hi everyone. I just thought we'd do a quick video today where I kind of talked about the books that I am hoping that I read in the month of March. I don't know if I'll do a TBR video every month, but I figured since I actually have some stuff planned out that I would like to do, I figured I would talk about the books that I would like to read to hopefully fit into those videos. And then I figured maybe we would draw a couple from like my TBR jar to see what we can shake it up with this month. I don't love to have like I have to read these books in a month. I'm very much a mood reader, but man, but I would like to get a little bit better about adding some specific books in and then mixing whatever I'm in the mood for at the time in as well. So that is what we're going to do today. For my 26 books that I want to read in 2026, I put 3 books down on my tentative TBR for March, hoping to kind of catch up so that I think I have to read 3 in March and 3 in April, and then it'll just be 2 until the end, and I should be able to get it done. So yay. One of them is going to be The Lathe of Heaven by Ursula K. Le Guin. And this is a sci-fi book, and just based on the synopsis, it sounds like there's a guy whose dreams can change how reality is perceived. And I guess it's like during a wartime, and there is a sleep psychologist who kind of sounds like he may be using the dreams to weaponize in some way. So that sounds interesting. Ursula K. Le Guin is like OG sci-fi writer, especially for women, like a female sci-fi writer. And I have a bunch of her books because I've been buying them as I've been finding them on sale, and I really want to like read them. I started The Left Hand of Darkness by her, and my brain was not ready to focus on something that complex, and so I would like to go back and continue reading it at some point. So I picked a shorter book, hoping that maybe The Lathe of Heaven will be a little bit easier. Another book that I want to read is Where the Axe is Buried by Ray Naylor. I don't know what this one is about either. This is another sci-fi, and it sounds like it's about this country or federation, I think that's what they called it, is a federation where the president, I guess, is the same man, and he's like downloaded his like mind, and so he has all these bodies that he can keep downloading himself into, so he's like continually reigning. And it sounds like there is someone who, like a scientist, who might have the ability to like stop it, and it's about like rebellion against this authoritarian oppressive president, and I dig it. Have I only read one Ray Naylor book? I thought I'd read more than one. Okay, well, there you go. I've read one other book by Ray Naylor, The Tusks of Extinction, and it's about this scientist who's like an elephant expert, and they're using DNA cloning to try to bring back mammoths, and they end up somehow downloading her mind into that of a mammoth so she can teach the other mammoths how to behave and act as a group. And it was just a novella, but it was really good. I also have his book, The Mountain in the Sea, but this one is his most recent release. I believe Where the Axe is Buried came out maybe early last year, if I'm remembering correctly. Anyway, I want to read it. Sounds great. The third one I'm going to try to read next month for the 26th and 26th is The Poppy Fields by Nikki Erlich. And this one is like a road trip story from what I understand, which is why some people like it and some people are not as down with it. But it's like you can go to this clinic, and when you have something that's traumatic has happened to you, you can have your grief removed or something like that. Like you go, and I don't know if you're like put in stasis or whatever until you've resolved your grief, but you can do that in here. Her book, The Measure, was really good, where everyone in the world mysteriously is sent like this string, and depending on how long your string is how long you have to live. And then when the strings start accurately predicting when people are going to die, like it becomes this whole thing of like, do you look at your string, and then are short stringers like allowed to join the military, or are they allowed to like hold political office because they're going to die soon? So why would you elect a short stringer versus a long stringer? It was really good. So I assume that there's going to be other good messages like that in this book as well. Let's see. It's an experimental treatment center where you can sleep until your grief is gone. And yeah, I'm excited. I don't know more. You don't know more. We're gonna find out more together next month. So those are the 3 that I want to read for a video next month for my 26 and 26. I also want to try to tackle 2 of the classics that I wanted to read in 2026 next month as well. And I picked 2 short ones because spring break is next month for my kids and they have 2 weeks off. So they're going to be home for a lot of the break. And I just wanted books that weren't going to be as beefy so that I have the opportunity to read them, considering my kids are going to be home. And 4 kids home all the time is a lot. So the first one I'm going to read is Animal Farm by George Orwell. I read 1984 last year, and now I'm going to read Animal Farm, and I'm looking forward to it. I did have some issues with 1984, obviously. I did not enjoy a lot of the sexism that was in there. I guess, and these were written a long time ago, so like I guess it shouldn't fully surprise me. I don't know when this one was written, because it just says this says 2023. I don't know when Animal Farm was published. Let's see. This book was published in 1945. When was 1984 published? 1984 was published in 1949, so almost 100 years ago, like 80 years ago. So I understand some of the sexism, but it did bother me. And I have another book on my bookshelf that I want to get to. It's down here. You can't see it. Called Julia, and it is 1984 from Julia's perspective. And I really want to get to that because I think it's going to... 1984 blamed the women for everything, and I think we're going to get a better female voice in Julia, and I'm really looking forward to that. But Animal Farm. It's pitched as a satire of the Russian Revolution. It is about a group of farm animals who are overworked and they get tired of it, so they decide to revolt against their human owners, and this wee tiny book is the result. So I will let you know how it is next month. The other one I'd like to try to read next month is Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. This one is like a horror. It's not horror, but it's a horrifying tale. It takes place in the Congo, right? It's like a story about colonialism in the 19th century in the Congo. That's all I know. So it's about this guy who is traveling up the Congo River, I believe, looking for someone who's been lost. A hunter, poacher, something like that. Anyway, he's been lost, and this guy, the main character, is looking for him. That's all I know. That's okay. We're going to find out together, right? Yes, of course. This does say Heart of Darkness and other stories. I don't know what other stories are in here. Ooh. It has Youth, Heart of Darkness, and The End of the Tether. So actually Heart of Darkness is like the middle book in here. And it looks like it's less than 100 pages long. That's Heart of Darkness. So I don't know if I'll read the whole book or if I'll just read Heart of Darkness, but we will see. But this is the other one I would like to try to get to next month so that I will have read 2 for the first quarter of 2026. I also would like to do a video next month where like the TBR chooses, the TBR jar, my TBR jar, chooses what I read. And I thought maybe we could pick I'll pick 3 books. I can't promise I'll read all 3 of them, but I thought maybe we could pick the 3 books now and then we can regroup at the end of the month and see how we did. Because again, I'm such a mood reader. Sometimes it's hard. As a mood reader, sometimes it's so hard to stick with the TBR, but I figured this will be fun. Let's pull a couple and we'll see. So here is my super fancy my super fancy key on what each color means inside the TBR jar. And let's see, what do we want to pick? Let's see, for next month, we have 2 classics. So I'm probably not going to try to pull another classic. We have 2 that are very much like hardcore sci-fi. This book sounds like it's going to be more speculative fiction versus science fiction, but there could be a little bit of sci-fi with it. So we have 2 sci-fi, 2 classics, a speculative fiction. Let's decide what we're going to read. What are we in the mood for? What are we in the mood for? How about mystery thriller? How about we do a mystery thriller? So that is the light yellow. I'm not a huge fan of thrillers, but I do like a good mystery. So let's see what we got. Here is one. Says, okay, I'm not going to do this one. The Appeal series by Janice Hallett, and it is like the Christmas one. I guess the Christmas one. We're not going to do that one. So, there's one. Nope. See? No. Oh, okay, we're going to go for this one right here. This one. Do y'all want to see what I'm doing? This one, not that one. And let's see what we have. The Blinds. The Blinds, which is behind me. The Blinds. So let's tuck that paper in there. And then let's see, what do we want to do next? Let's pull a cozy next, because I think some of these are going to be heavy this month. And so let's find a cozy that we can. And cozy is dark yellow. Honey Witch. Oh, that'll be good. Okay, the Honey Witch will be the second choice. And then, let's do like a historical fiction / fantasy. So like the light brown color, which I saw one. Here we go. The League of Gentlemen Witches. I read it. I read that already. I haven't updated this in a while, so the ones that I've already read, I'm just gonna pull out and keep going. Oh, is that one? Yes. What are you? The Clockmaker's Daughter. The third one is The Clockmaker's Daughter by Kate Morton. Okay. And hopefully as we pull more from the jar and they're ones that I've already read, we can just put them in my discard jar. And my discard jar is behind y'all. Here are the ones that I have read so far from the jar. That is 3 books for my TBR jar video next month. We have The Honey Witch by Sydney Shields. We have The Clockmaker's Daughter by Kate Morton. And we have The Blinds by Adam Sternberg. I don't know what any of these are about. I think this one's about like a small town, maybe. Populated by criminals, sheriff. The Blinds is no sleepy hideaway. So anyway, a thriller. Ooh, there's a map. You know I love a good map. It's set in the 1800s. So that's how that one falls under historical fiction. This book is about a girl whose grandmother wants her to train to become the next Honey Witch. But the catch is the Honey Witch can't fall in love. And I guess she's going to catch feelings for someone. And we're going to find out. And it's going to be beautiful. And yeah. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 8 books that we know for sure we're going to read next month. Fingers crossed. And then whatever else I get up to for the rest of the month, whatever my Libby decides it's going to release a hold for. I have the new Matt Dinniman book, Operation Bounce House, that I really want to read here soon. I'm not sure what I'm going to read over spring break or how much I'm going to be able to read over spring break with my kids home, but I will do my best. I was also thinking maybe towards the end of March, I could like assign a couple of books, like a different emoji. Like I've seen people who do like videos where like, you know, Instagram chooses what I read, or like YouTube chooses what I read. But I thought it would be neat if I like assigned one book an emoji and then another book an emoji, and then ask my friends to pick an emoji and then read the book that correlates with the emoji that my friends picked, and maybe do 2 or 3 books depending on time and energy. So I thought that would be something cool to do next month. But really, I'm just trying to get into the rhythm of doing this. But I thought, hey, it is kind of that time of the month. So that is my thought process for the books that I'm going to be reading in the month of March. Let me know if you've read any of them. If you have, what do you think? Should I waste my time on them? Should I get to one sooner rather than later? Would love to hear what y'all have to say. The next video that I have coming out, I believe, is reading new-ish book releases, and then probably a wrap-up at some point towards the end of the month, beginning of March. Probably beginning of March is when I'll probably have time to do that. And then you can kind of see what other books I read besides the one that I talked about. And I think I'm probably not going to end up talking about every book that I read, because sometimes I just read books for fun, for background noise. But I figured I could talk about them like in the wrap up a little bit, and then that way you're not super bored hearing the exact same books I just talked about again, because there'll probably be more that I have read outside of videos. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you spending time with me today, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you very soon in another video. Bye. So it's an experimental, we have, and then we have, it sounds like it's speculative fiction. It sounds like it's speculative. Why can't I say that? I can't talk. I don't know, this lady whose magic is honey. No, I don't know. Let's see. Maybe I'm gonna cut all of this. I'm in the munch. Oh, yeah. My hand's like attacking you.